Hi, I'm RandomTrashy. Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my Q&A part 5. Today's video is going to be a bit longer because I've had more questions put up since the last video. So I'm going to try and catch up. So if this is a bit of a long video today, I'm sorry. I'm going to get through everyone's questions. I've brought myself a pre-made cup of tea ready for this video. So let's kick this off. As you can tell, absolutely dripping in Warrior apparel. Even got my Warrior mug on show as well. So thanks very much to the guys over at Warrior for sending all that out to me. Okay, let's kick this off. Max B, I'm sure this was on Instagram. It says the top 3 pieces of kit that you take to any skirmish event. What are they and why? Skirmish event. I guess it's very different from what I normally take. What this would be for a Milsim. If I'm there over the entire weekend, if it's just a day game. Right. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think I know what this is going to be. So. Pyro wise, definitely smoke and bangs. Skirmish events normally you get quite hectic but very simple objectives to attack. So it normally means there's a lot of people there and a lot of people fighting over the same objective. So a lot of the time out on the ground, especially at skirmish events, it's a very evenly matched field. In fact, in the case of equipment, so it's not like you can outperform someone by the equipment that you've got. A lot of it has to be down to tactics and the way that you use tools. Clearing buildings, clearing objectives with Mark 5 pyro smokes, Mark 5 pyro and smokes is definitely the way to go. I mean, we held off a building last weekend, Apocalypse Airsoft. Not last weekend, the weekend before. We held off a building, just 5 of us of a force of about 20, and that was using our pyro to clear guys out behind barriers, where we could throw pyro out of the building over behind barriers and clear people out. We used smoke on one side to completely fog up one side, and as soon as the guys cleared the fog, they were in open ground by that point, and we could shoot them. So using pyrotechnics is definitely, say, 2 of the items I would definitely have on me. 3 for a skirmish, always a very reliable gun. I use my TM4160. Want any information on that, you can head back to the channel, but I always say reliable gun because I end up going through more ammo playing a morning in a skirmish field than I do an entire weekend on a Milsim. Some Milsims I've only ever gone through the 5 mags that are on my chest, and I was bombing up like crazy for all of us and the guys, just because we were taking on so much contact over that weekend. So a reliable gun and a good selection of pyro. I guess maybe something else. Good eye protection, decent eye pro. Just make sure that you've got ballistic spec eye pro. I'm just going to jump back into these questions. Your dream real steel gun would probably be a Barrett 107, the new one, or maybe the Accuracy International MCX, the 338 Lapua version. A friend of a friend has actually got one, and it's beautiful, but it's worth about 15 grand without the scope. So yeah, a bit too much than I want to spend. Louise Kid 338. What is the best gun you've ever owned? Lewis Kid 338. Sorry, Lewis. The best gun I've ever owned is my TM. Absolutely love it. Gun's amazing. I praise that gun a hell of a lot, and it deserves it. It's a very, very responsive, very reliable, very, very accurate gun. For a gun that's straight out the box, it's just phenomenal. They are very, very good. That's why they're so popular. Next one down. RHM Airsoft UK. This is on Instagram. What's the best site you have played both Milsim and general airsoft skirmish / attack and defend? No fields that I've ever been to have really done like an attack and defend type of scenario. Even my local, say, skirmish field is called Apocalypse Airsoft in Detlin. It's run by Martin and John, who put a ton of work in up the site. I can't praise those 2 guys enough. Really, really good guys. If you are Apocalypse players, or you visit that site, you'll know what I mean. They're always doing work up there. It's a great site. And probably there, I really like the team. I really like the way it's marshalled. Sometimes, on the really big days where they've got 100, 120 players, it can get a little bit hectic, but kind of what the skirmish is all about. It's always good fun. Everyone always leaves with a smile. It's a really nice, tidy, clean site. They've got good areas for getting ready that are covered up. They've got like these loads of these ammo and weapons benches everywhere for you to be able to get sorted. They've got a shooting range. They've got tons of villages and buildings and stuff. Yeah, Apocalypse Airsoft in Detling is badass. For the best site, general, probably Catterick is my favourite. Or yeah, Catterick was Yeah, probably Catterick. It was awesome. It was really good. Went there with Sterling Airsoft. It was very, very good. Okay, moving on from that, A Bulbasaur always drops some questions. Another awesome airsofter on Instagram. What is your personal night vision / low light setup? I've got a Gen 3 monocular that I run on an FMA maritime helmet with the optical padding kit in it, and I use a D-Bow A2 from GMP, and that's the legal laser version, so you can use it on any site. And it's got an IR laser on it, and that's my low light setup. I very rarely use white light at all. Only if we're doing real tight CQB stuff, I might put a torch on, and that's a Surefire Scout 900, the polymer bodied one, and sometimes I clip that on my gun, but it's very rare that I use white light. So yeah, a Gen 3 monocular from Thomas Jacks, and a GMP D-Bow. Moving on from that, it's XELORSD. I don't know how you pronounce that, but Exelost, I don't know, not sure. But he's got questions saying, we see a lot of videos about the big stuff people take to play with. What are the little items that you couldn't do without? S23 asked me this question a few videos ago, and I've done it about the game that I've previously been to. So the previous game that I went to, a couple of little things that I wouldn't do without. Notepad and pen, always vital for any Milsim. Anything with taskings, if you've got grid coordinates, anything like that. Notepad and pen. My Garmin 4014 Trex, if you're out on big ground. GPS unit with 6-figure grids and all that sort of thing. It makes life so much easier. And my Pelly head-mounted torch. Always have that thing on me. It's in a loadout video that's coming up to the channel very soon. I always have it on me. Actually, it will probably be up by the time this is out, so you can go back and check out my 2017 loadout video. So yeah, pad and pen, GPS unit, and a light or some sort of torch. Moving on from that, Jazz Out the House. Cool name. Jazz Out the House 94. Will you be doing any more real still shooting? Will you be posting any CAG gameplay? I don't mean the straight action stuff. I mean the planning, intel gathering, also loving the thermal view of the scope. That was a beast. Awesome. Thank you very much, Jazz. Okay, I'm just going to address these one by one and do them as quick as I can because this video is going to end up being really long. Will you be doing any more real still shooting? Yes, I will. It's just when I have the time to do it. The last shooting day was at Hive, and it was over the weekend that I was away. The next shooting day I'm at Carewent with Sterling, so I won't be doing any shooting probably then until Bisley comes up, and that is towards August, September. I might do some 2-2 shooting in the meantime and take the camera if they let me take it. A lot of the time they won't have cameras in the ranges, so I won't get any of that. With regarding to CAG, I won't do any footage from CAG. I really do respect the OPSEC that they have and the PERSEC of making sure that what they're doing, what they're teaching, and the guys that are teaching it are protected from being visible to the public eye, i.e. pictures, video or anything like that. There is a few guys that kind of briskly walk around the outside of those guidelines, but I really respect the team from CAG. I respect the stuff that they teach us, and I respect the history of the guys that are teaching us. So because of that, I won't provide any intel on the CAG ops, no. Sorry if that sounds a bit harsh. It just treads on people's toes, and I don't like doing it. Intel gathering or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of CAG is to push towards being as realistic as possible. It's taught by guys that have got, all of them have got 10 plus years out in the field, and I wouldn't want to include them in anything. So, and because they're directly teaching it or informing us of what we need to do, it would just tread on toes. So no, I won't provide anything from CAG. Which helmet for mounting night vision, something that doesn't cost an earth? Get the FMA Maritime. Any of the FMA lids are good. They're not going to stop a bullet by any means, but for mounting night vision on, they're fine. The shrouds aren't great, but make sure you get a decent arm and J-arm and you'll be fine. Get a real steel J-arm and that and you'll be okay. Airsoft reviews Argentina. Do you use any other camo besides multicam? Plus, how do you get all the amazing stuff you show in your videos? It's a sponsorship video that is back on the channel at the moment. You can check that out, and that goes over how the engagements with all of the people that I work with and all the companies that I work with, it shows exactly how that's done. With regards to multicam, a lot of the UK based Milsims are based around a Haji type of dress, like a burqa sort of dress, and then around guys in multicam, so it's like NATO forces vs like a Haji dress. So because of that, a lot of the camo that is used in the Milsims is multicam, so a lot of my kit is multicam. I do have some other camos. I've got British DPM, which I never use, and I've also got some woodland stuff as well. But a lot of the time, I will wear, you know, like a generic tan jacket with multicam, and because my rig and the rest of my kit is multicam works really well for all of the events. So I probably won't stray away from it. It's pretty much what I use. Templar Airsoft, these guys always interact with me on Instagram. Have you got any events planned for this year that I'm definitely going to attend? Yes, there is a ton, but it is always very flexy with my work and stuff. So I'm going to be doing Carewent with Sterling. That is going to be like next week for when this video goes up. After that, there is a private Milsim that's being put on by a Airsoft company that I can't really go into, but that's an invite only event. I will be doing that. There is an invite only event with CAG that I will be doing this year. There is APOC or Apocalypse Airsoft. I'm putting on a few invite only Milsims this year that I'll definitely be going to. There's also a good friend of mine who will know who he is when I mention this, but we were talking about an event that he's going to be putting on later in the year that I'm really looking forward to as well, and that's going to be a very diverse event. So yeah, lots and lots of events coming up in the year. Right, I'm going to quickly have some of my tea and a quick tea break. Okay, back to the questions. Moving on, Mr. Christmas 92. Hi, I play in Northern Ireland. The FPS limit is 328 FPS. Should be the same as England, but how come I see some of your videos and other YouTubers having higher FPS limits over there? Is it not illegal? Mr. Christmas, this is a very controversial subject at the moment, especially with the FPS limits and the RIF rules changing around what the FPS limits should be for a airsoft gun. I don't exactly know how these rules and laws and everything are working out. I've seen lots of conspiracy, but I haven't seen anything that's hardlined. Yes, the rules in the UK should be that guns should be 350 FPS on fully automatic. If it's a semi, I think it's 400. If it's bolt action, it can be 500. But you do see a lot of guns that are over that, and I've been shipped guns from companies within the UK and outside the UK that are over that, as you can see, and this is why Field should chrono guns when players arrive on site and you get a tag or a tab or signed off of a list or whatever. They should be chronoing guns to make sure that it's an even playing field and everyone's at 350, but the majority of the time they don't. As long as it's, you know, around 350, 400, I think for me that's fine. I mean, I've been shot with guns that are more and it does hurt, but to be completely honest, as long as it's around there, I'm happy with that. You know, under 400 for me is cool. But yeah, with regards to the legal stuff, there's so many different things floating around at the moment. I don't know. As far as I know, that the guns I all have now are under the limits, so they are all legal. Okay, next one, MF0531. What do you think is the best warrior assault plate carrier chest rig for smaller people? For smaller people, I personally think it's the Recon plate carrier. That's the one I use personally myself. There's a full review of it back on the channel if you want to check it out. You can go, if you are very, very small frames, you could use like a chest rig instead of a plate carrier. If you're definitely after a plate carrier, then go for the Warrior. If you're really small, you can go for the Swimmer's Cut Warrior, which is a narrower panel on the front and a narrower panel on the rear. Also, girls tend to like them a lot. So if you are female that's asked that question, then you know they are normally preferred because they are a much slimmer profile on the front. So it means that when you're grabbing your gun, you can bring your elbows in and stop you from chicken winging. So yeah, that's probably what I'd advise: a Recon or a Swimmer's Cut Recon. Scott's Country, hello guys. Are honeycomb lens protectors or similar required when using thermal and MV optics during airsoft games? Yes, definitely. Some sort of protection for your MV or for your thermal is definitely required. A lot of the time you can get a ballistic shield for the front. There's a few people out there that make them. The honeycomb ones are good. Honeycomb obviously is not good for night vision because it detracts from the amount of light that is going in to the lens, if that makes sense. So I've never really seen the honeycomb used on NV. I don't know how it would affect thermal, but it might obscure the thermal image. But you can get the perspex or thick perspex lenses like in a Butler Creek cup and push it over the end of your night vision, and it's not going to take any damage from a BB. Have seen night vision devices shot out. Haven't seen much thermal on the field, apart from my Predator friend, who will probably know who he is by me saying this, that was out absolutely causing us havoc the other weekend. He's got a thermal device on his gun, and he causes havoc with it. So Scots Country, I haven't seen the honeycomb one used, but you can get these kind of perspex ones that will protect your devices. Moving on from that, Chaos Aid, add Airsoft. Are Warrior making any Ranger Green products, pouches, vests, etc.? I messaged them but got no reply. Yes, they are. I do actually have some Ranger Green stuff here from Warrior that I can't show at the moment, but they are making Ranger Green products. Moving on from this, damn, this video is going to be long. Owen, OWIN with dots in between. What is your home site? My home site is Apocalypse Airsoft. It's 30 minutes from me. As I say in the rest of the video, they're great up there. I would only make my home site or someone that I frequently visit a very, very good site. It would have to be entertaining. The guys there would have to be on the ball. It can't be the same stuff mashed out every single weekend, as I just couldn't go there a lot. But the guys up there make a lot of effort. They're always improving the site. They're always doing things up there. So for me, that makes it fun. I have to say my home site is Apocalypse. It's brilliant up there. Moving on from this, I've been asked this question before. If you could be part of any military outfit in the world, who and what would you join and why? It'd have to be some sort of cool special ops thing. I think probably JWK, just because I love their kit, and their sniper outfit is just ridiculous. But SASR, SAS, something along those lines. Anything where I could fire a high caliber weapon at people, that'd be pretty cool. Call sign Beard, how are you, dude? Do you think that Airsoft in the UK needs more promotion, maybe get kids more involved and push a programme for veterans? Yes, I do. It's a very good question. I do think there should be a lot more kids out there playing Airsoft. Everyone loves Call of Duty. Everyone's kid loves running around shooting people. Being out on a field, actually doing it for real is a really big thing. I think it's really important. I don't see why they don't push it in schools. You know, it's safe. It's safer than playing hockey or rugby or anything like that. You know, I saw more injuries playing hockey at school and senior school and stuff than I did playing any other sport ever. I saw more injuries in that than in downhilling and stuff. So, yeah, I think, you know, it should be pushed. It should be pushed everywhere. It's such a good outlet, and it's not that expensive to get into it, you know. It's a cheap hobby. It gets kids out, moving, you know, for fitness and stuff like that. It's awesome. And yeah, I think it should definitely be pushed more to everyone, not just kids, to adults as well. It's a good blowout for me. I really enjoy it. I've made some good friends through Airsoft, and it should be pushed to everyone. It should get a hell of a lot more promotion, but it doesn't. And I think that's because it's putting firearms in the hands of kids, and in some people's eyes that's deemed wrong. But most parents are happy to let their kids sit in front of a PlayStation shooting people's heads off all night. I don't know, it's weird. So yeah, I would love to see it promoted more. I'm a big fan of pushing Airsoft to everyone, not just to adults. I think veterans as well. I've got quite a few friends that are ex-military that probably would have turned their nose up at Airsoft, and they would have laughed at an Airsoft gun a few years ago. But now the kit's got so good. There's quite a few friends of mine that are currently serving and ex-serving that love Airsoft. It's brilliant. You know, they've got all the training. You know, they were paid to train for months and months and months on end to be tactically very efficient. So when they do normally go out against an airsofter, they normally are very, very good at it. So yeah, I think it should be pushed more to them. I think it can help with things like PTSD and stuff like that as well, which is a whole nother conversation that I don't really have the right to get into, but I do think it can help. Anyway, last question. Ginge Airsoft. When doing a Milsim, what sleeping equipment do you use? And if you use a tarp, shelter and woodland scenario, what's your preferred setup? Okay. So it really does depend on where we're staying. Some Milsims we've stayed in containers, and in that case I've just had a ground mat and a sleeping bag, and 9 times out of 10 I sleep in my kit on top of the sleeping bag, and that is without my plate carrier on, but in my full dress. And that's normally because you're in some type of a fob, which is you know, normally classed as like a secure area, and you're prone to attack. Last time we were mortared with mortar rounds, and it just woke everyone up. So after that we were awake. And so in that case I try and sleep in full kit. When I'm out in the woods, I sleep under a basher, which is, I do the envelope basher. You can Google it. There's loads of different ways of setting up a basher, but I do it as an envelope. So it goes up like this, down and then underneath, and you sleep in the little envelope bit, and it's got like a little pointy roof over you, and it tucks round under one side, and that's all the water will run off the front, and it means that you're up and off the ground. And in that case, if the ground gets very wet, or you're on boggy wet ground, marshland, anything like that, your sleeping mat won't get soaking wet. And then I use a sleeping mat and then a sleeping bag, and then over the top I pull over a bivvy if it's cold. I have slept in just a bivvy before, and I've slept with nothing. I've slept just under a tarp. It really depends on the environment and how tired you are and how quick you need to be able to move if you are attacked. So before, I just slept under a basher. I just wrapped a basher around me, pulled my hood up and propped myself against a tree, and that's because if we got attacked we had to bug out to a secondary location, so rather than taking everything down it just would have been hassle. So yeah, it really does depend, and it depends how tired you are and how often, how much you want to set up. One of the good things about staying out on the ground, make sure you've got a jet boil and fresh water. That's the key thing for me. Hot food, cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever it may be. I'm getting on a little bit now, so it's not like I could just have a can of Monster for breakfast and be able to go all day off of that. So now I have to make sure I have a coffee at some point and have something warm to eat, warm food, especially staying out in the cold temperatures. So jet boil, definitely a must if you're staying out on the ground. Good ground mat. One of these corrugated ones now that all fold up into a square. That's what I've got, a really good one. You can get them online for about 30 quid. A really decent sleeping bag, get like a Celsius one or whatever, and then make sure you've got yourself a decent, completely waterproof bivvy. And then the way to pack your bag as well is to put your bivvy in your bag first and put everything inside the bivvy, and then zip the bivvy up so that if your bag has to go in the water, if it gets submerged, if it gets left out in the rain, all of the stuff inside it's nice and dry. Including your sleeping bag. So use your bivvy as a bag liner, and then that's a good little tip for keeping all your kit dry. Hopefully that's gone over everything. If hopefully you're happy with the answers that I've given. If you do have any more questions, obviously feel free to drop them in the comments box below. I know this has been a really long video. I do apologise. Thank you so much for all of your questions. There will be another Q&A coming to the channel very soon. Check back on the channel for the Milsim series as well. That's going to cover a ton of questions. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all soon.